In this lecture, we'll be taking a look at how we can make use of a geolocation API with Google Maps. So the first thing that we need to do is create one project in a developer's account on Google, and they will have our API key which we'll be actually making use of over here. So the first thing that you need to do is go to console.developers.google.com, and here you need to create a project. You can click on this create project icon and give your project a name, and as you can see, I have given a name over here called Google Map API. And once that's done, you can select that project over here, go to credentials, and there you'll be able to get the API key when you'll be creating the project, and then visiting the credentials tab, the API key creation prompt will appear, and you can select what type of key you need to generate. There you need to select API keys, and once you have that, the API key will be shown to you. You just need to copy this, and in case you are assuming how this key is going to be associated with your Google Map, in that case you'll see enable APIs and services. You just need to click on this tab, and here you can select Google Maps JavaScript API, and it will automatically check its status. Based on that, it will give you enable or manage button. As you can see, it says API enabled in my case. So you have the API key now. What you need to do next is, over here you'll be including the URL for Google Maps, and this is the API key that we are passing along with it. If you will not pass the API key, the map is not going to work at all. Now after that, things are pretty simple. Over here, as you can see, we are simply trying to detect whether geolocation API is supported or not. Some of the constants that we have defined over here, we discussed this in last lecture. Maximum age 2000, timeout 5 minutes, high accuracy set to true, and we'll come to this method soon. You're familiar with the geolocation error messages. And here you'll also notice we are having another function called stop watching, and all it's doing is it's clearing out the watch ID value to null using the clear watch method of geo. Next we are having this start watching. Now start watching is nothing, it's just that it's calling the watch position method with 3 parameters: show map, the callback function, then geo error, and then these 3 constants that we have defined. So initially when page loads, window.onload gets called, then the start watching function will be called if geolocation API is supported. So we'll have our start watching function being called, and this method that we have is then assigned a value over here in this variable watch ID, and that watch ID we are checking if that exists, then we are clearing it out and setting the watch ID to null whenever there is an error. Then obviously the show map method that we have over here is called, and all it's doing is taking the latitude and longitude and then initializing the Google Maps with that latitude and longitude value, and there you can see if the map object exists, it simply pans to that latitude longitude and the position is set to that latitude longitude. Now here we have the map marker, that is the dot that you see over here in red color. I'll be demonstrating you soon this. Now if it's not, then we are creating the options initially. Here you can set the zoom level, then these latitude longitude will be shown in the center. There are different types of map IDs that you can set, like road map, satellite, hybrid, terrain. Here we are making use of the road map. And finally the map object is created with the options, and the tilt position, that is, it just turns off the default 45-degree view, okay, when it's set to 0. And here we have our map marker object with the position, latitude, longitude, and the title, you are here. Finally we are setting that map marker on the map. So it's pretty easy actually, and let's go ahead and see it in action now. So here you can see that if I am clicking on this, it gives me the value, you are here, that's the current location, and this is the road map view of the area where I'm recording this video. Okay. If I'll be in a moving vehicle or on a mobile device, then obviously this location will change depending on the movement of the mobile device or the vehicle. So that's how we integrate geolocation API with Google Maps.